You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Days with isolated afternoon and evening showers and storms. Highs between 95 and 98. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning. Welcome into a Hump Day edition of Inside the Locker Room. I'm trying to figure out the day, but it's a Wednesday edition of Inside the Locker Room. Tomorrow, we got a lot of college football. We will look at some of the games actually tomorrow. A couple of SEC teams, I think, get underway on Thursday, but there will be games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday this week. So we'll get a view of what everybody's been talking about with all of these teams. Yellowwood pressure-treated pine from Great Southern Wood. They bring us this 7 o'clock hour. Do it for us each and every morning. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer that is closest to you. You want to build the fence, the deck, the pergola, then Yellowwood is the only choice. Go to yellowwood.com, put in the zip code, and you can find the dealer that will take absolutely great care of you. Download the Tide 100.9 app. We talk about that all the time. Great time to have that app on your smartphone. I had somebody message me last night that doesn't live in town, wanting to know how could they listen to the show. And so obviously that is the easiest way to have that app onto your smartphone. If you want to email us, you can shoot us an email. That would be wimpandbarry@yahoo.com. Good morning, Dad. How are you this morning?
Doing okay. I ask our listeners if they feel like a transgender who is going to play on the women's golf tournament should play on the golf tournament. And before you say you think they should, think about your daughter playing on that tournament, in that tournament. So if you have thoughts about a transgender playing in a ladies' golf tournament, you can call Barry and we can discuss it. Pat McAfee has been bumped off his show. Doesn't really matter to me. Just the one show that he has, he, of course, still be on game day.
What do you mean bumped off his show?
Well, they bumped him off. He's not going to have his show, Pat McAfee show.
Really? I know he'll be on YouTube. So you're saying they're taking him off ESPN?
They took him off on the main ESPN, his show on ESPN. That's what the headline said.
Okay.
The spring training transfer rule is going to change. Now, here's what's going to happen, folks. You're going to play through spring training, and you're going to be dissatisfied. But you can't do anything about it. You won't do anything about it because the transfer rule has changed. So you sit around there and mope and cut your team's guts out, your coaches out, being dissatisfied because you didn't have spring training went your way, but you're not going to transfer because the window's closed. Now, Barry can tell you when the window opens up again, the start of the next season. But I think it causes a lot of discontent for people who've gone through spring training and who have been disappointed in the way spring training went. So we'll see. 9:16 tomorrow. JTT's off with Holt at 9:27. He's a good player. Scotty and Xander will play at noon our time. Again, I say to you, should a transgender play on a women's golf tournament? Alcorn and UAB will play at 7 o'clock. It's only on ESPN Plus, which a lot of people can't get. UConn, as I said yesterday, the president's still trying to decide that. That's not much to tell you. If you play in a bowl game, it won't count against your redshirt eligibility. You have the number of 4. Baseball, the Braves won 8-6. my Cleveland Indians are playing terrible. They're tied. Nobody cares but me, but I'm part of the show. College basketball coaches are hiring general managers, beginning to, like football people, in order to handle transfer portal, which simply means that more and more and more there won't be people going out to see players play that I think that in the past year. So that's about it. When you try to look at blue plates, the one thing I've tried to look at as hard as I could are people who I don't think has a lot of transfers and I don't know about. Vanderbilt doesn't. That game interests me. Clemson doesn't. Stanford doesn't. They don't have a lot of transfers that I can't keep up with, pretty much. So I thought about that and a great deal. So we'll see. I'll see what I decide to do. And I don't really know right now what I need to do. So I've looked at all of them. You know, if you talk about Barry and I talked about it, he said don't get teams with big numbers, and I think big numbered teams are scary. I do think that if the one big numbered team I looked at was the Tennessee game, 41 against Chattanooga, because they've got a new quarterback and they want to show what they can do and those kinds of things. And they like to be Tennessee now, but it does things differently. So I've thought of some about them, and so we'll just see. We welcome your calls. Roman Harper will be on supposedly if you're not playing golf in the first hour. We had to change him from yesterday. I think Chase has some recordings of coaches who have spoken, and then we'll have Bill at the end of the hour, end of the second hour. Excuse me.
Now, where did you see this about Pat McAfee? I got people texting me, and I'm looking it up. I don't see it anywhere.
Well,
where did you find that?
I'll have to go back and find it. I've got all my hands full right
that
now.
That would be Twitter and everything would be blowing up if he was not doing his show on ESPN. So see if you can find that.
Okay.
So these people stop blowing me up, because I hadn't seen it. Now, I know Ryan Leaf did say that he thinks 80% of the time when he's on game day that he's high. That's what Ryan Leaf came out and said. So
I'll try to do the best I can to find it. I did see it, and it was mentioned. I wouldn't have written it down unless it has been.
Yeah, let's see if you can find it.
It may. I said now that whatever.
That transfer portal deal that you were talking about, it's a proposal. I think it'll pass. So basically, they're saying December the 9th to January the 7th is the portal. Now you say, well, what if your team's in the playoff? They're not going to be through playing by January the 7th. Well, if your team plays beyond that, then when your season is over, you get 5 days. You have 5 days. So if you're not playing, then you can put your name in the portal between the 9th and the 7th. If you your team is continuing on in the playoff, once the playoff run is over, then they'll give you 5 days to put. They're not going to possibly have that other 15 days after spring practice that all these guys jumped in the portal. And so we'll see if that but by then, you better have done your research, to determine whether you're going to actually get a scholarship or not. Because I think if you're a borderline player, then once you put your name in that portal from December 9th, there's probably no coming back unless you're like a star or something like that. So I think it's a better rule and keeps at least by the start of the second semester, the guys will kind of know who they got on their roster, and they can kind of plan much better from there. So, all right, we'll take the first break. We got Joe Holden here, and I know I cannot cut Joe short. He's going to get on me about being a big LSU fan, which he does each and every time he calls. I don't really know what I did to be labeled an LSU fan, but Joe has me labeled in that. He's got me in that box. Hey, 2 Men in a Truck. They're at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth move. It's local, out of town, out of state, no problem. Let the professionals handle it. They'll take great care of you and your stuff. Give them a call today. It's 205-247-5050. That is 2 men in a truck. Movers who care.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. Lattitus Gay has been arrested, charged with animal cruelty in Northport. Acting on a tip, Northport Assistant Police Chief Keith Carpenter told news partner ABC 3340 officers obtained a search warrant for the residence on MLK Jr. Boulevard and found 6 dead dogs. Gay has been placed in the Tuscaloosa County Jail. He has a $7,500 bond. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news throughout the day. It's absolutely free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, other than what we have on 2059, the roadways not doing too shabby, but 2059 definitely on the southwest lanes here between Joe Malisham and all the way down to Holly Springs Lane. You do still have that closure due to an accident that
his multiple Netflix specials, comedian Tom Segura brings his new tour Come Together to Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater Friday, August 30th. Tickets on sale now at tomsegura.com/tour.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another hot and dry day today with a sunny sky, the high 98. Tonight fair with the low at 74. Tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny both days with isolated afternoon and evening showers and storms. Highs between 95 and 98. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Where the season never ends. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine for making this 7 o'clock hour possible. Always remember, if it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. All right, to the Yellowwood hotline, get Joe in. Hey, Joe.
Joe. Hey, what's up, homie? How you feeling, man?
Hey, it's Super Joe. Super Joe. I thought this was another Joe. Super Joe. What's up, Super Joe?
Oh, man, everything gravy, man. But I'll tell you what, man. I say, got the game coming up and everything. I said, shit, ticket price ain't going to calm down for nothing. So I could see that. I know the writing's on the wall with them. I was hoping that I was going to be able to get a free ticket, but that looked like that might be shot to hell right now.
Nah, let me tell you, Super Joe. Like my son called me yesterday wanting Georgia tickets. I'm like, dude, right now the Georgia ticket higher. You got to wait till right before the game to get the tickets. So you go out there, them tickets will be falling right before the game. They'll be trying to get rid of them out there, Super Joe. You don't get them too early to get them now. You're gonna pay top dollar this early. Free advice.
I'm going to take you up on that.
Yeah, it's free
I'm going to take you up on that, too. Yeah. I'm going to take you right up on that. But you know what? When I wear a jersey, when I wear that number 12, see, people thinking about Joe Name. When people think about Joe Name, is when people think about Kenny Stabler. Those are great names and great top picks, and I won't argue with those picks. But, see, I wear the man from Scottsboro, the last name of my jersey, called Pat Trammell.
Yeah.
You know who Pat Trammell is?
Yes.
And, and the man said, what you know about Pat Trammell? I said, that's the Bear Bryant Cologne. Now, I'll say this, though. And then a lady walked up to her, a young girl said, Mister, can I have your jersey? And I would have gave it to her, but one problem is I can't walk around with no shirt on around the university. I'm a chubby dude. I can't do that.
I was there.
I didn't want.
Dad, you remember Pat Trammell, don't you?
Yeah, I was there with Pat.
Yeah.
Because
he had an unfortunate medical sickness that cost him his life young.
Yeah, he said it was a leukemia. I heard it was leukemia. Somebody said it was a cancer, but he would talk around Coach Bryant a certain way. Like Coach Bryant one time, this is according to some of the former players, that Pat, Coach Bryant, Pat, what do you think about this here? And he yelled something, Coach, that ain't worth a damn. And then everybody looked around, and Coach Stallings, had went up there and wanted to drove out to the Scottsboro, was concerned about Pat. Hi to Mrs. Trumbull. How are you doing there, Coach? And I just wanted to let you know I'm just here concerned about Pat. Well, how's that Lord's name and Zane boy doing? I don't want to quote the exact word, but and so then he said, well, just fine. He just got back in the truck and said, I got to go ahead on the coach meeting. I'm running a little late. So he really was going there because he was concerned about Pat and his profanity.
Yeah.
And Coach, but he saw he was from a Cousins family, so he got right back in the truck, and so it wasn't going to do any good. So but one thing I want to talk about is Because see, Pat Trump, a lady wanted to tell me, this is an elderly lady. I don't never argue with the elderly people. You know, a woman told me, said she didn't remember when J.B. Whitworth coached him, but she never heard of no Pat Trump playing under no Coach Bryant. And I said, I ain't trying to be funny. I said, lady, I ain't trying to be funny. Lady, there's people your age that will scold you.
Yeah. I
said, lady, I'm about the friendliest Alabama fan you're going to meet right now. I mean, you're a lot older than I am, but I'm not going to talk to you that way. But there's people your age that will really want to hang you upside down. I'm just trying to help you out, okay?
Well, Super Joe, go out there game day. Get out there about 4 o'clock. I'll be surprised if you pay more than $20 for that ticket.
Well, that sounds like a good idea. You know what? I might take you up on that.
All right, buddy. Have a good week.
Well, all right, then. You take care, man.
Thank you, sir. All right, there's Super Joe. He usually he's always out there on fan day, so he's always first in line out there. All right, get it back to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Philip in. Good morning, Philip.
Barry, yeah, hope y'all doing good today.
Good. How are you, sir?
Good. I think if Alabama can avoid tripping up against Wisconsin, which that's going to be a tough game. I'm telling people right now that's going to be a tough one. And if Georgia can avoid a trip up against Clemson, I don't think you're going to see any Georgia-Alabama tickets floating around.
Well, I think one thing you have to understand, Philip, with players, you don't look at Wisconsin. You look at Western Kentucky, and you look at South Florida. I know this is a radio show, but it's darn important that you're ready to play for the 2 games that you are supposed to win before you get to them. So, but I think you're talking about the show. I think you're right. They ain't going to find any tickets. But I do think that in the minds of kids, as we talk about who's going to win, who's going to lose, and you got to be darn sure that those first 2 games are won.
He was talking about getting the tickets. I was telling this far in advance, nobody's giving them away. The only chance you got, like last year, I was laughing. I was down there, and the guy came up for the Alabama-Texas game. Man, there were no tickets. And then so they're out there, and they're tailgating around. He says, my wife decided not to come. I got a box ticket. You want to go to the game? And I was like, nah, I'm going to go home and watch it.
Yeah.
So there are like tickets like that will come available. Like the guys.
Philip, how good do you think, you study it more than anybody, how good do you think Wisconsin is defensively?
I actually can't answer that question. I have not. I just was I was focused on their offense the other day, and that's why I called yesterday to tell you about the fact that they have an air raid offense.
Well, you usually tell us the pretty accurate stuff.
I'll let you know. I sure will get on that today and look at it and call you tomorrow. But I watched a great interview with Urban Meyer and Jared DiNardo the other day, talking about Wisconsin's offense, and it was pretty doggone fascinating and worrisome. Actually, it was worrisome. But Alabama's got to play them. That's that Hayes in the barn. Got to play them up there. Probably playing them in the daytime is going to benefit Alabama, believe it or not, even though the kickoff time is absolutely horrendous. But, that Georgia-Alabama game, if Alabama can avoid a trip up and Georgia can avoid getting upset against Clemson, then I think tickets to that Georgia-Alabama game are going to be extremely hard to get unless you've got a lot of money.
Yeah, unless somebody's wife decides not to go at the last
second. That's exactly
second.
right. That's what's happened so many times. My son was coming from California, but he didn't get here.
Yeah. I got one. Like I didn't want to get rid of. I got one. You want to go? And so, but people don't like to take risks like that, Philip. They like to have them in hand, and they want to get them early and all that. But you got to have you got to get out there and work it a little bit, and you'll come up with one. But you want one now? Go on and get you a wad of cash out. Hey,
let me throw out an oddball comment here before I move on. And I've been thinking a lot about Ashley Barker lately, and I think she is a really good basketball player. I think she's going to have some big moments this year for Coach Curry and the Crimson Tide ladies program. But, I wonder what it's going to be like for her. And I think she's going to get drafted pretty high in the WNBA and latch on to a team. I wonder what what it's going to be like for her, because you got a girl there that is skilled. she's a hard-nosed basketball player, and she looks good. I wonder what it's going to be like for her in the WNBA.
I think it'd be fine.
I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, I think they just Caitlin Clark gets so much publicity. That's what's making these other ladies jealous. Obviously, Sarah Ashley's a great player, but she's not going to get the hype that Caitlin Clark gets, and that's what everybody's mad about because she's getting all the hype and they're not. So
she's helping them a great deal, but they're not getting.
But yeah, Sarah Ashley, she is really good, man. I hope she does get drafted. I hope she does. So
I think she will. I think she will. But anyway, guys, I look forward to the show. Thank you very much for letting me call in.
Thank you, Phil.
And being a part of y'all's great program. See you.
Thank you. Dad, getting games now is difficult. When you want to get a team to come in here and open the season, it's expensive. And so these teams that are coming, they got to make as much money as they can. I'm sure they would prefer not to come in here and get beat up in game one, but they will do it. And Western Kentucky, the bye game on this, Alabama obviously will not have to return the game to it. $1.9 million is what they are paying to bring Western Kentucky in here. And so, but those teams have to have these games. Those games can't go away. If you start going to 9 and 10 conference games and make everybody else play another Power 5 game, then games like this will go away. But these teams, this is a big deal for Western Kentucky to come over here and get this $1.9 million check, isn't it?
Well, sure it is. That means everything to them. It drives the bus at Western. The money they make drives the bus. It drives the bus for everybody, the volleyball and basketball too. It can't make enough there to support themselves. So $1.9 million is big. And along with that, I think it'll be an interesting game. I know Doug thinks that they'll beat the Lions very easily. I think the way Western plays against people I know, they're not as good as Alabama. I got all that. They play in a way that they can score occasionally big. So I think it'll be a decent game.
Yeah, and these kids obviously excited to come in here and play in Bryant-Denny Stadium in front of whatever it's going to be. I don't know that it'll be a sellout, but it'll be close to it. And so, and they want to put film together, these guys that are competing against these Alabama players, guys that are probably going to be, a lot of them be first-round draft picks or high draft picks, and they need to put some good tape together. So you're going to get their best when they come in. And, of course, they're going to go home with a check. So, of course, people are looking for opening opponents, and so that's a good one. So they're able to command a lot of money. And I saw a lot of what the teams are paying these opening weekends for these teams to come in. And I think a lot was $1.8 million, $1.9 million to get these teams to come in and play. But they'll still be they'll still make money.
Fans are not disgruntled with you either at the beginning of the season. They're excited about you playing. And they'll come, but just on their excitement, and then they pretty much knew that with Coach gone, I don't know how long ago they had the Western Kentucky game, but there was something in the woodshed long before Coach announced that he was getting out.
Yeah, the thing that if you're Western Kentucky and you come in here and all of a sudden Alabama jumps on you and you get down pretty big, then you decide, do we play our main guys? We got a long season ahead of us, or do we're going to play some of these other guys now, not to get these guys beat up and hurt here game one? So those are some of the decisions that go into these things. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll get our main man, Roman Harper, in. Roman's probably getting a haircut. Most of the time when we have him on the show, he's playing golf. Mm-hmm. No one's getting a haircut when we have him on the show. He's sitting in a barber chair. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, other than what we have on 2059, the roadways not doing too shabby, but 2059 definitely on the southwest lanes here between Joe Malisham and all the way down to Holly Springs Lane. You do still have that closure due to an accident that happened.
DEAL or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511 today. All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern for bringing you this 7 o'clock hour. All right, we get right to the Yellowwood hotline. He's with SEC Network now. He joins us throughout football season. Obviously, a former Alabama football player, New Orleans Saint. Great on TV. Dad always picks on him. I don't know why he answers his calls.
Socks are plaid.
He's always picking on his golf game and his socks. Good morning, Roman. How are you, sir?
Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing?
Now, Roman, get the plaid socks off, and don't show those. Just I tell you what, Coach Saban, he doesn't wear any socks at all. You might be kind of really hot shot if you don't wear any socks at all.
Yeah, I'll wear some ankle socks every now and then, but you always got to make sure as a brother you got to ankle those. You know, you got to lotion those ankles first. Can't be out there looking at you.
That's exactly right. And your golf game, we won't talk about that. I've seen it.
I think he's gotten better. I think he's gotten a lot better, hadn't you, Roman?
I have. I've gotten a lot better.
He needs to be respectful of you.
I'm playing right now, and it's I'm in a bad spot.
Your golf game is good?
It's better.
Oh. Okay.
It's different.
You didn't have a par today.
No, I'm on hole one right now.
Oh, you're playing golf while you're talking to us?
You're putting for a bogey.
Oh, wow.
Let me ask you this. I'm not as critical of last year's offense as other people are. They're all mad about the last play against Michigan. But without going against the last year's team, because I don't believe in doing that, will Milroe be changed? Will things be different? They say it's going to be a downfield passing game. Tell our listeners what you thinking about Milroe and what they do with all their quarterbacks.
I think it's just going to be a little bit more creative. I think this offense is built for Jalen Milroe and some of his strengths. In other words, when you have an open quarterback competition, it's really hard to just, build an offense for one specific guy when you got three guys competing. Yeah. But it's something to be said when it's all, who the starter is. We're trying to figure out this guy's strengths. The coaches are coming in with an open mindset. They're not looking at it from any of the negatives from his past or, the doubtfulness of, what can he not do? Instead of, hey, what does he do really well? And let's build from there. Instead of looking at it from oh, man, well, I don't like it. He can't do this well. He can't. Instead, you just come in with a different mindset, and it's amazing what happens when they do that.
We're talking with Roman Harper. Roman, as we were doing this show for the last 9 years, Dad and I have always talked about, good Lord, whoever has to follow Nick Saban, it's going to be virtually impossible. This guy has been great at it so far. Now, we'll see what happens during the season.
When they play a game.
Yeah, but so far, from what he's walked on this campus, pretty much everything he's done, and he's very approachable. Just kind of to talk about what you've seen with the transition from coach to Coach DeBoer.
Well, the one thing that I thought was really, really cool to kind of see from Coach DeBoer is that, he really empowers the other guys around him.
Yeah.
Like he empowers the players and the coaches. It's just different. It's just a different leadership style than what these players have had and seen under Nick Saban. There's no knock on Nick Saban as much as it's just an appreciation of something new sometimes. And sometimes you don't even know what that feels like or what it's supposed to feel like until you get it. And right now, that's what you're seeing at Alabama. Everybody's excited. It feels new. It's just, that sense of it is very nice. And so that's what you're feeling right now. I'm looking forward to it because I want to see how they play. And, the feel-good season is going to end at some point.
Yeah.
But they have to be able to kind of continue to rally together. But I love the fact that this coach, Kalen DeBoer, has somehow found a way to kind of empower those around him. So now they feel more like they have more power. And now it's just more onus or responsibility on them. And it's different. But the whole building feels different. I don't even know if everybody's comfortable with it yet, but they've gotten a lot more comfortable, and it's going to really show its head when they actually start winning some games.
Yeah. Do you need to hit a shot, Roman? You need to put the phone down and hit a shot?
No, I got it on speed. I got it in my head. It's all good.
Okay. Oh, you're walking down the fairway like Justin Thomas when they talk to you with the headphones. I got you.
Kind of professional guy.
There you go. Go ahead, Dad.
Tell us our listeners what you're going to be doing with college football this time.
So this year I will be on my same show. So I still have SEC Nation on Saturdays. Good. And then on Monday nights, I'll be on the SEC Network, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central for Read and React, my show with Cole Kubelik and I. Really, really fun show where we're really diving into football a lot. We're talking about the reason why things are happening on the field, breaking down film. It's really like a master's class in football. If you love football, you should tune into it because we're going to tell you a lot of the reasons why things are happening. Big brand, big-time football. And it's probably the funnest show that I get to do because it really allows me to show you what all I know about football. And I can really show you some things. And all of a sudden now you'll look up on Saturday and be like, man, this is exactly what Cole and Roman were just talking about.
Roman, and you guys, I think you guys are very honest, and I think Coach Saban's being very honest, but then people get all bent out of shape about who he picks, and he said on game day that he thought Auburn was going to be the most improved team in the SEC. Alabama people Auburn people were laughing about that. I think that just means they were really bad last year. That's no knock at Alabama. Do you guys just sit back and laugh at the reaction that you guys get on your predictions and things that you guys say they're going to happen?
Yes, because fans take it way more serious than people that have actually played or kind of been inside the huddle or the locker room because you don't really have time to be all emotional. You just got to do your job.
Yeah.
And so I understand that, but that's kind of what makes the sport so fun. Like I'm out here at the golf course today, the first 4 conversations I've had, it's all about college football. It's back. Everybody has something. And right now is no better time to do it because everybody has a chance. And so I understand why everybody's mad, but Auburn did a great job in recruiting. And they got some young, talented receivers and some things that they were missing last year that they will naturally be better at this year. So they will be improved. But what is improved? I mean, I'll be honest. I got Auburn at 7 wins. If they get 8, I think it's a fantastic year.
Yeah.
If they get 9, pay this man Hugh Freeze again right now.
Yeah. How about Ole Miss? I heard Coach talk about, he said they were always good in the skill positions, but the defensive line, now they look like an SEC team. Is this the year everybody's talking about that? Your thoughts about Lane Kiffin running the program, and can he take them possibly to Atlanta and into the college football playoff?
Yes, I got Ole Miss in, honestly. This is the most talented Ole Miss roster I've seen as far as NFL talent ready guys are since I've been watching college football on both sides of the football, not just offensively where they have the most explosive guys on the skill position, but also on the defense side of football, like Nick said, that they actually look the part right now. So I'm looking forward to it. And Lane does it differently than everybody else. So it's not going to always add up. It's not going to always make sense. But somehow or another, Lane Kiffin has gotten everybody to buy in a short amount of time. No matter how you got here, you're here for a reason, and everybody's having fun together. I like that about the Ole Miss roster and this Ole Miss, what they've been able to build at the university right now. And so it's going to be really good. And at the end of the day, Jackson Dart, you got the quarterback, you got the wide receivers, and the defense should be better. So I think they're going to be really, really good. And they don't have to play Alabama this year, which has been their Achilles heel under Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. That.
Correct me on this. I have thought I think the defensive coordinator at Alabama was very good. I have thought all along that I thought the coach almost blitz, but he never did blitz. I have thought that they're going to beat the quarterback and knock him back a lot, but also I have thought they're going to give up big plays against the Tennessees. Correct me on that.
Well, this defense is going to look so completely different. This is what's going to be the biggest change from Alabama. It's not going to be the offense. The offense is going to be what they're going to be. They're going to have some explosive plays. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try and mix it up. But defensively, you're going to look up, and this team looks completely different. It's more based upon scheme and style. We saw Alabama's defense. You've seen offenses change under Nick Saban, but the defense never stayed. The defense stayed the same for 17 years. At least some of the concepts and play schemes and, the way guys lined up and the way that they played, all that stayed the same. That's not the case right now. The case is going to be more off or vision coverage, and that's going to come down to tackling in space, Coach. So if you can tackle in space, you can do this defense well. And then on top of that, the stats that you normally pay attention to, you're not going to pay attention to anymore. It's going to be all about, you're not going to pay about yards. It's going to be about stopping people in the red zone, so holding people to field goals. Then you're going to have third down conversion rate. That's going to be important. And then you got to force turnovers. You don't care about yards per game anymore. These stats have just changed. That's what football has done, and the rules don't allow you to be great on defense anymore. So now that's just your thought process going into it. And this is what the Alabama defense is looking at.
Okay, that's interesting.
Roman, there's people talking about this defense too and saying it's not as complicated as Coach Saban's defense, so young guys can get on the field quicker. Is that a positive, or will people that the Georgias and the Wisconsins, if it's not as complicated, then they'll eventually pick you apart if you're not complicated? Where is the balance there on that, Roman?
Well, I mean, maybe it's good for that because this year they're going to have to depend on some young guys, especially in the secondary piece. And we know it is hard to play Nick Saban's defense. The first install day is a whole bunch of pressures and some other stuff. Versus this defense, I don't know the install, but I'm very, they're going to find different ways to play some kind of zone coverage. And sometimes when you play zone coverage, I think this defense is going to unlock some things for some of these players. Like Deontay Lawson is a player that I think will flourish better in this scheme than he did under Nick Saban's scheme. Why do I say that? Well, because they're going to play more matchup, man-to-man coverage. The moment the ball starts to declare, you know who you got. Versus this defense is going to be a little bit more of a zone coverage. So as long as his eyes are in the right place, he's getting dropped into his depth. He's just going to naturally turn into an athlete and then just go play. So that allows it where he kind of got exposed at times last year in man-to-man coverage. So I think it'll be less of that and more of some of the others. Now, as far as the secondary is concerned, we're going to see it because they don't have a lot of guys with a lot of experience. And so we're going to see how they kind of form together. The biggest thing about having a good secondary is the communication has to be right. So all guys got to kind of be on the same page, talking, communicating, and trying to working through it together. And if they do that, they'll be just fine.
Yeah. Yep.
Georgia comes to town the fourth. We'll just hold the first three games. That Wisconsin won't be easy, and the other two will be exciting, I guess. But Georgia comes to town with a.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
You don't pay on $1.9 million to come in and win, Roman.
Yeah, you want your players to be ready to play. I don't want to overlook those two. And Wisconsin's not easy up there, but let's just say that things go the way they hope they go. When Georgia comes to town, it is coached by somebody that knows Coach well. And do coach well, but doesn't know the new guy. But he'll be on top of his game, having watched the first three games of the season. Georgia does a good job of not only recruiting but getting their guys ready to play. Be some kind of game on it.
Yes, it will. I mean, Georgia's the best team in the country, so they're going to be ready. You're not worried about that. Then they get a couple games of experience and learning who they will be as a team. I assume Georgia will be a better team in week 2 or week 3 than they will be in week 1. That's just natural progression in football. The one thing that Alabama does have as an advantage is that the element of surprise. This would be the first time Alabama sees Georgia under these conditions with this coach and this whole situation. So, that could be one thing that really plays into Alabama's hands, especially if they don't blow all their steam versus in the first 3 weeks. versus Western Kentucky, some other school, and Wisconsin. So if they can do that, then they got a chance. And, the element of surprise versus Georgia, always a good deal to be in.
Yeah, it's South Florida. So I told Dad, Alabama will steamroll them based on what happened last year.
I agree. And one more thing, Barry, too, is that the Georgia defensively, I know we just assume they're just going to just reload and just keep being Georgia. Like, that's just what we assume, and we're just used to that. But there's no, like, Georgia, they still have to replace some guys. And it's not like they just, they just got this all easy and it's all good and good. They still have some pieces to get right, and they have to replace some guys on the defensive side of football. So as confident as I am as Georgia on the offensive side, I'm half as confident about that on the Georgia on the defensive side.
I know we got to let you go. One last question. Georgia Clemson this weekend. Is this game big for Dabo? And I don't mean he has to. Yes. I don't think he has to win it, but he does not need to go get blown out. If he gets blown out, then they're going to talk about the portal and doing it his way and all that. He's going to get murdered. Now, if he plays them close and loses a game at the field goal at the end, I think he's fine. But if he gets blown out, I think that the critics are going to come out, Roman.
Oh, they'll definitely be out. But I don't anticipate. I think this is going to be a very close game. Dabo and Clemson are not just going to ride off into irrelevance. They're not just going to allow that to happen. Dabo's too prideful of a coach, and so is that program as well. So I'm really looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be big time. I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be one of the more exciting games, and we don't have to wait long. Kickoff's at 12. We ain't got to wait long for it. But it's going to come down to, can Clemson's quarterback take that next step and make them competitive on that side of football? I think defensively Clemson will be okay, but can they take that next step offensively?
Barry, you don't know this, but Roman plays golf left-handed.
Really?
Oh, man, make you want to throw up.
What's wrong with that?
Left-handed golf. Left-hand, but McIntyre is the only left-handed player on the Pro Tour, and he won the tournament at Canada.
No,
I don't think
the RBC.
Yeah, what did you make on the hole while you were on the phone with us, Roman? What'd you make?
Oh my gosh, I had a bogey.
A bogey.
Yeah. A bogey? Yeah. You did?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. You must have made 6 because it must have been a par 5.
And it was a 4.
Oh, right.
It's a 4 on par. You made a par 3? Did you get it on the green?
No.
You're on a putt-putt course.
All right, Roman, we'll let you get out. Enjoy, because football is here, my man. So I always enjoy you being on. Normally,
thanks,
you must be getting a haircut today, because every time we talk to you, you get a haircut.
I am. I'm getting it after I golf today.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're great. You're great. I appreciate you being on.
Thank you, Roman.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Enjoy
appreciate
the day.
it, Coach.
Enjoy the
All right,
day.
Barry.
See you.
Thank you.
All right, there's Roman Harper there. Yeah, I told you he's going to be getting a haircut. They either catch him getting a haircut. We never have playing, but I never heard of him strike the ball. So I don't know.
I was talking to him about what to do with his golf swing. He said, "Coach, do you remember?" I said, "Well," he said, "I'm left-handed." I said, "Oh, yeah, I forgot about that."
You don't like left-handed golfers? Huh?
I mean,
You don't like left-handed golfers?
They're not. They struggle. Left-handers usually struggle in golf.
Your grandson's left-handed.
Yeah, I know, but they struggle in golf.
He actually can hit. He can hit it a long way.
Yeah. I hope I'm wrong.
Sometimes he knows where it's going. All right, we'll take the break here. Open up the phone lines 205-342-9904. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of The Game, we're going to feature Aaron Torres. We're going to feature Josh from College Football Nerds. Waddle Skillberry is going to be one of the honorary captains. He'll join us. We'll take scores on a Southern Ale House score prediction Wednesday right here on The Game, starting at 2 p.m. on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Deja vu on 2059. We had an accident in this exact same spot on yesterday and now again today. And this is in the southwest lanes of 2059 near Joe Malisham. Now, what they have done is reopened one of the lanes, but you are still extremely heavy. But folks are taking
just meet and 3 while Christian and Corey get you ready for the Bama game this weekend. Located at 1925 University Boulevard, downtown Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another hot and dry day today with a sunny sky, the high 98. Tonight fair with the low at 74. Tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny both days with isolated afternoon and evening showers and storms. Highs between 95 and 98. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Your home for Alabama Crimson Tide football. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Right, so Thursday, tomorrow, 2 SEC teams will be in action. Missouri will take on Murray State. Murray State, Jody Wright, his brother is actually the head coach here at Tuscaloosa Academy. Great family here. Jody was over at the University of South Carolina as an assistant, but he will take Murray State to Columbia, Missouri. And the other SEC, actually, I guess Oklahoma, well, that's on Saturday. I'm sorry, on Friday. So maybe that's the only game. I thought Arkansas was playing on. But just your thoughts about this as we get started here. Yeah, there are the SEC games. Hold on one second here. I think Arkansas is taking on, I think it was Pine Bluff. Isn't that correct? Do you get anything
Pine
out
Bluff.
of that? Yeah, they're playing on ESPN.
50-something favorite.
Do you get anything out of that, playing Pine Bluff?
Not Pine Bluff, you don't. Pine Bluff is very lucky to have enough to have uniforms. I mean, Pine Bluff is
it's tough over there. Yeah.
Yeah. You go over in a basketball game now, you might not win because they got 7-8 people calling the game. But Pine Bluff is no football. You know, they need the money. This is one of those deals. I don't know what they're paying them, but I promise you, they're not paying them $1.9 million.
No.
They might be paying. It might be paying them $500,000.
Yeah.
Something like that. Might give them that much, but they're not paying them that kind of money. So Arkansas is 51-point favorite or something, which is not any big deal. And hopefully the coach can get Arkansas going. He's he came in, did a good job for first couple of years. They've struggled recruiting a little bit. Athletic director's real, anxious and worried about them, I think, and their fans are on the edge of the seats. So Arkansas has money, as you know, more than I do, Barry. They have an opportunity to get money in the NIL more so than anybody.
No doubt. It's a lot of billionaires up there in the hills of Arkansas. All right, we'll take this break here. We'll get back. We'll find out what's going on with Tuscaloosa Toyota with Justin. Look forward to getting with Bill Cameron here at 8:15 as Auburn gets ready to take on Alabama A&M, another game that should be a snoozer down on the plains. I want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Grace Southern. Make this 7 o'clock hour possible. Always remember, guys, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, you don't want it.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside.
DEAL or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511 today. All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles,
Here's Eddie Garcia.
News from the NFL, where the hold-in of Cincinnati Bengals star wide receiver Jamar Chase is apparently over. Chase has been attending training camp but not participating as he's looking for a new contract. But now that we're just over a week away from the season opener, he's apparently going to participate in practice. And head coach Zach Taylor says that Chase will be ready to play in the season opener against the Patriots. In baseball games of note, the Royals beat the Guardians 6-1. Cleveland is now lost 3 of the first 4 games of the series. And Kansas City has moved to a tie with the Guardians for first in the AL Central. Battle of division leaders saw the Phillies shut out the Astros 5-0. Houston's lead in the AL West is still at 3.5 games on Seattle, with the Mariners losing to the Rays 3-2. Battle of 2 of the top teams in baseball. Orioles edge the Dodgers 3-2. LA's lead is at 3 games in the NL West on both Arizona and San Diego. Yankees lose to the Nationals 4-2. New York's lead on Baltimore in the AL East is back to 1 game.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Allstate Insurance agent Andrew Kniffer. He will help kick us off this 8 o'clock hour. He's my Allstate Insurance agent. I've got my home and all our car insurance with Andrew. He does a great job for me. Let him do the same for you. 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. 205-722-9201. You'll be in good hands with Allstate Insurance and Andrew Kniffer.
I didn't make it up about Pat McAfee, but I can't find it.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate.
I do. I think it's accurate.
It's not accurate, but
well, it is accurate. It's accurate. That's what they said.
If Matt McAfee was no longer on ESPN, that would be all over.
They bumped him off of his program.
What do you mean his program?
He had a Pat McAfee program.
He has a Pat McAfee show that he does.
They bumped him off of that.
He does from 11 to 1, and then after that it goes on to his YouTube channel. And so...
Well, they said they bumped him off. I can't find it. So I know you think I'm old and can't remember anything.
I'm just saying if Pat McAfee was no longer on ESPN. Now, ESPN wouldn't report it.
I did not say he was no longer on ESPN. I did not say that, Barry.
Okay, then what show? He has a show on ESPN.
All I've said is they just said they bumped him off of his show to do something else with him on another deal. Mm-hmm. That's all I said. He bumped him off of his show. I can't find it.
I don't know what that. When you say he bumped him off,
I've seen. Just tell listeners, I'm senile.
Somebody just.
I was senile when I told you that.
Sometimes,
Nick Saban was going to be. Going to leave too. So
sometimes people put things out there that are fake news.
This was not somebody put on there.
All right. Well, when you say bumped him off his show, like bumped him off his regular morning ESPN show,
I don't really know. I don't watch him.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get to go down to Skyland Boulevard. Justin, save me. Save me here, Justin.
Save me. I'm the one that everybody's criticizing.
Save me, Justin. How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing good. How are y'all?
You're supposed to save me here, Justin. I'm waiting on you to save me. He's arguing with me about
I'm not arguing. I made a statement and Barry contradicted me.
I didn't contradict you. I just want to put out that he was not on ESPN doing his show anymore if that was not accurate. So I was trying to I had Chase.
I don't know. I didn't say it like that. I said he was bumped off a show, and so I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway. Hey, Justin. How you, sir? How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Everything's going good. I would think if Pat McAfee was removed from his show, you should be able to pull it up.
Yeah. Well, anyway, somebody just said
he brings a total different. Some people it's a love-hate deal with him.
I just had a guy text says Wimp equals CNN, so whatever that means.
I will say this: Nick Saban brought a ton to College Game Day, and I'm not saying it because he's the coach of Alabama, but if you watch any bits and pieces of Game Day, he took that show to another level with his, knowledge of the game and how everything goes. That he done a really good job, and that's a knack for him. I mean, that's like second nature, and he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, he was good, no doubt. All right, how many cars you sold this month, Justin?
We have sold 259 cars. We should hit our 300 mark again. And as the fall comes in and it slows down and you do try to transition to 25 models and close out 24s, we're set up for a really good fall. There'll be some times that it'll be a little tough as we transition, and we'll have some lapses in the 24s and they're gone and you're waiting on the 25s. But hey, we've got plenty of models to choose from. I tell you what, Barry, one of the things I want to mention, I've sold a bunch of Toyota Land Cruisers, like so many. I'm actually delivering one this morning. I think I've sold in the last couple months, I think I counted 13, possibly, I guess today would be 14 of them. We have so many Land Cruisers on our lot, so many coming, many to choose from, totally affordable, different models. That if you want to look at something that is just that meets all.
Tell me about a Land Cruiser. Tell me about one. Tell me what's.
Yeah, you would be.
Inside
yeah, absolutely. You would understand it because they all are built with a hybrid model, and it's a great thing when something's built with a hybrid because you got two motors working for you. You got the electric motor and the gas, so everything stays the same the way you service it. And everything is the same, but you just get so much performance, man. Like you get the horsepower, the torque, you get the gas mileage. I mean, the hybrid is just so good. It's the wave of the future, and it's great. And Toyota's had that hybrid system since '97. It's in the Land Cruiser. They'd be crazy not to put it in there. And the off-road capability with the multiple terrains and four-wheel drive system in a Land Cruiser. Everybody knows this. The Land Cruiser is the baddest off-road vehicle that's made. And once again, they've built this thing. They designed it like the ones that were first released, that Toyota first released many years ago. The look is like that. And I'm telling you, they are flying off the lot at Tuscaloosa Toyota. It is something to see. The technology, just everything about that vehicle is great. And it's one that, you need to come check out, and you can see it and see many of them and all different varieties of colors, trim levels, and everything on the lot at Tuscaloosa Toyota right now.
I'm not going to say the dealership, but a girl I went to high school with, great girl here, her son bought a car here, local dealership here, and took it into, it needed service, and they told her it'd be 26 days before they could get to it. And then now they're only doing oil changes there. And so when I was reading all that, I was saying, man, I've heard Justin talk about their service department there. And, obviously you get, there's certain points when you get certain service things done to your vehicle there, but maybe give your service department a shout out there because it's not happening everywhere like it is there at Tuscaloosa Toyota.
Well, when you buy a vehicle and you say, well, that car looks good and you see it for 10 minutes on a test drive, you got to know, you got to be knowledgeable about what you're getting, and you got to realize that, hey, I've got to take this car. The life of the car is just not going and buying it. The life of the car is with a service department where you spend a lot of your time keep taking care of the vehicle and doing the things you're supposed to do. And I'm just going to tell you, Barry, you take your car around and try to get it serviced at some of these places, and you'll find out real quick why we just take pride in what we do with 100. Well, it's literally, Barry, somewhere between, and we'll have our tire sale coming up in a couple months. We'll run 200 cars through our service a day, 200 a day, not in a week. Most people can only get that in a week. We're doing it in a day, and so the average is 150 a day that runs through our shop. And how do you do that? You got a ton of staff, and you got a ton of staff that knows what they're doing. You make an appointment, you bring it in, you get it serviced, and it's the reason you get the 150 is because it's not just Toyotas we're servicing. People will find out real quick what somebody's service department's made of, and they'll bring a different model to us because it's something that people need to think about when they buy something. What's the cost of ownership? And, we talk about Toyotas and the resale value and things like that. There's a reason that Toyotas have resale value. because they're made well. They don't cost you a lot in service over time, and you don't spend a lot of time in the service department. I mean, just so many stories. I've got a big client that's in a bunch of states that has a business, and he buys all his Tacomas from me. He bought 2 from me this week. He's got 2 Tacomas still in his fleet, 07 model and a 05 model. One's got 500 and something thousand miles on it, and one's got I think he said 473,000 miles on it. So how many vehicles do you know of that can do those kind of things? These Toyotas can do it, and our service department, the life of the vehicle, servicing it, you got to know where you're spending your money and what you got to do, and it's the service after the sale, and that's why we pride ourselves, because that's the place you spend a majority of your time. It's not just buying the car; it's what you got to do afterwards, and we pride ourselves on that. And you can get your car, regardless if it's a Toyota or not, serviced at our service department, and see for yourself where people take care of you, and the service after the sale is what we take pride in.
Well, Justin, we appreciate you, my man. A lot of people coming in town, so I'm sure you guys will sell a lot of cars this week and over the weekend. So get to work, and we'll look forward to visiting with you next week.
Looking forward to the blue plate tomorrow.
There we go. Thank you, sir.
Friday.
Yeah, man. Talk to y'all next week.
All right, thank you.
I'm not giving it tomorrow.
Well, you want to wait till Friday? That's fine. I mean, you want to wait till Friday? You want to do it Friday?
Well, let me think about it.
All right. And that blue plate is brought to you by Chuck Norwood and Chuck Norwood team at RE/MAX of Gulf Shores. So if you're looking to buy or sell down in the Gulf Shores area, 251-948-1212, or go to chucknorwood.com. We're looking forward to that blue plate to get started. It was an exhibition, so we're 0-0. Chase. It didn't feel like felt like a loss though, didn't it, Dad? It felt like a loss, didn't it?
Yeah, it felt like a loss.
Tough. It was tough. SMU, they ain't ready.
They ain't ready to play. They got too many problems.
All right, let's get to Bill Camry. It's the Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A complete closure on 2059 again today. So we're talking deja vu. 2 tractor trailers involved in this accident, 2059 on the southwest lanes between Joe Malisham and Foster's. That is completely shut down. No pickup time given. This happened early.
Labor Day savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid August 22nd through September 11th. U.S. only. See store online for details. America's most reliable line of appliances per independent study.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by Conecuh Sausage, a true Southern flavor since 1947 and the official smoked sausage of the Crimson Tide. Buy online at ConecuhSausage.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On yesterday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we were joined by Alabama football tight end C.J. Dupree.
I think the tight end in this offense with Coach DeBoer really has to be able to do it all. You know, we're spread out a lot at number 1, 2, or 3. I mean, we're in the core, we're in the backfield sometimes. So I think you have to just be able to do it all and understand what role you have. You know, as a tight end, you have to know the offensive line scheme. You have to know the play call, what the quarterback sees. You have to know the safety level. You have to know everything about the defense. You have to know the receiver routes because you can be put in any position on the offense. So just knowing how to do it all and properly executing your job is a huge thing to be a successful tight end in this program.
I'll have more in a moment.
Favorite jeans, favorite shirt. Got Conecuh sausage and I'm firing it up. Yeah, everybody knows it's how I get my grill on. You can smell that flavor up and down the road. It's a little taste of heaven, and everybody knows. It's how I get my grill on. Conecuh sausage. It's just a little taste of heaven.
Join us tonight for Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show, live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. Chris Stewart is your host, and the show will begin at 6 p.m. and feature the first in-person appearance this season of Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer. Hey Coach is available to listen to across the radio network, as well as a video stream on all Alabama Athletics social media platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Conecuh Sausage. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Tide 100.9 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another hot and dry day today with a sunny sky, the high 98. Tonight, fair with the low at 74. Tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny both days with isolated afternoon and evening showers and storms. Highs between 95 and 98. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Two-time state champion and two-time NIT champion Barry Sanderson breaks down the latest in sports on Inside the Locker Room on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Get right to the Yellowwood Hotline, ESPN 106.7, The Drive down in Auburn, Opelika. They got 5 straight home games down there, so we'll be busy down in Auburn. Bill Cameron. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Hey, Bill. Hey, Barry. Well, how are you guys?
We're good. Nick Saban said he thought Auburn would be the most improved team in the SEC. Of course, Alabama people and Auburn people were laughing about that. And I think he truly believes that. Just your thoughts about how much you think this 2024 team will have improved from last year, Bill.
Well, I mean, Auburn's had 3 straight losing records. They better be improved this year. I don't, if they're the most improved, that would mean that they're at least a little more competitive than they've been the last few years. And I do think they are. I mean, that's one of the things that they looked the part. They look like an SEC team. Now we're going to see how they play. Maybe not. I mean, you won't get a great idea this weekend. The one thing that they don't want to do is go out there and be really sloppy this weekend. But it's the first opportunity to show that they are better.
Yeah, that.
I know we need to talk about this year's team, and I will. But behind the scenes, are they getting some people in the not the transfer necessarily the transfer, or in the recruiting portal that are real skilled at the skill positions that are for the future? Quarterbacks, wideouts. I know they have some wideouts. Maybe a little bit about what they have coming to their program. Are you talking about guys that aren't going to be playing this year, or maybe those that not be playing this year, but we're going to kind of because they're doing such a good job recruiting. I talked with your athletic director yesterday. He called me, and a little bit about where they stand with the future to go with this team that they have now. Yeah, it's a really interesting mix. They've got a lot of seniors. I think there's 30 seniors on this team, and a good number of them are transfers. But then, other than that, there's hardly any juniors. I think there's only 8 or 9 juniors on the roster. The rest of the roster is freshmen and sophomores. So there's no question that they have gone out and really tried to upgrade. When skill positions, you're talking about receivers, running backs, defensive backs, and those guys thus far. I mean, they are loaded with the talk that generally everybody first starts with is the receivers. But I look at the young defensive backs that they have. Now they have one, of course, came from Alabama last year, and Antonio Kite, who is a sophomore who's got 3 years of eligibility left, and he's a guy that's battling for the number three corner spot. Looks like J.C. Hart, a local product, is probably the number 3 guy, and he's a redshirt freshman, and then behind them are 2 true freshmen. So that's the first start right there. Is there's some really talented young guys behind the seniors. Jaron Thompson, who we talked to yesterday, one of the players that we talked to yesterday, the transfer from Texas, he's one of those senior guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's not one of the captains of this team. He's really come in and really shown a good bit of leadership, and the 3 upperclassmen receivers that have come in have also. I mean, everybody just talks about how much they look up to them and how they've been able to step right in and be more vocal in the locker room and be a great example for the true freshman receivers. So
No, I think you're right, Wimp. I mean, you've got to have those. Those are the playmakers that you're going to have. Those are the guys that can make the game-breaking plays, make big plays, things like that. And it's a really good combination, I think they have, of seniors and players with multiple years of eligibility that they have there at the skill spots.
Just talk a little bit about the coordinators. I guess Hugh Freeze will, in essence, be the offensive coordinator and be, making the offensive calls there. But talk a little bit about the coordinators on each side of the ball for Auburn, Bill.
Well, first on offense, it's sort of like a three-headed, offense. Auburn hoping it turns out to be a monster. But they've got with Derek Nix, who came over from Ole Miss, who will be calling the plays. Now they're going to obviously have to go through Hugh Freeze, but I mean, Derek Nix has been with Hugh. He was with Hugh Freeze's entire time there at Ole Miss, and Ken Austin, who's been with Freeze everywhere since his Ole Miss days. And Kent was a really good quarterback at Ole Miss before he went on to the CFL and was a head coach up there. And he's worked with some really good quarterbacks. They've got three guys who are very like minds. I mean, they know each other. They've worked together for a long time. So I think they feel like that's going to be a very comfortable mesh of those three guys who know each other and know what to expect. Defensively, Hugh's going to leave things up to DJ Durkin. It was funny yesterday, or not yesterday, I guess, on Monday when we got the depth chart on offense. It was a depth chart. I mean, it was here are your starters. There was only one spot where there was a question as to who the starter was, and that's left tackle. That, like we've talked about, where a battle is going on there, and I'll get back to that in a little bit. But on defense, Durkin had told us last week that, to him, it's not a depth chart, it's a rep chart, and he needs to have as many players as he has confidence in, and he's not going to, he wants to feel like, and he did feel like that he had multiple players at most positions. And we looked at that depth chart, and it had 38 players on it.
I saw that.
All with or this guy or that guy or the other guy. But not coincidentally, it was pretty much in the order that we've seen them out there at practice. So it's like the first guy or the second guy or the third guy. So it looked like any of those players are going to be out there at one point, but it's most likely you got an idea who the starters are. But DJ is he's a guy that likes to create some havoc. I mean, when we were talking with Peyton Thorne yesterday, he was saying what a blessing it's been, really, or how good it has been to be able to go against DJ Durkin's defense, because they show him different looks all the time, and on the front and in the secondary. He'll send players from different areas. He'll do things to try to confuse offenses. So it's going to be one that, I'm sure if they have a breakdown, which everybody will, they'll give up some big plays, but I think they're going to be a defense that tries to create big plays. So thus far, I mean, they haven't played anybody, so everybody's really happy right now. But it does give that feeling or indication that this is going to be a team that's much more aggressive, I think, on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I think your home field advantage is always there for you. Y'all do a great job of winning at home. What kind of crowd do you have? What do you expect for the opener?
I think there's going to be a really big crowd for the opener. I mean, it's one of those where probably all the season ticket holders won't be there, but there are plenty of people that are looking for tickets for this one. Just the expectation, wanting to see what some of the young guys do, those highly touted freshman receivers, some of the young talent that they've brought in. It's a 6:30 game. If this were an afternoon game, it would make it a little tougher because it's going to be hot again this Saturday. Last week, like we were saying, I knew that tease, the weather that we had in the 80s, and it wasn't terribly humid, was going to make it tough this week because it was going to get back to warm. But I expect a really good crowd there on Saturday with folks just excited to see, how much better this team does appear.
Bill, switching sports, somebody told me that your basketball team was over in Honduras doing some mission work and stuff over there. Is that correct?
I had not heard that, Barry. So I really can't say.
Okay.
One thing I will say is I haven't heard anything. Haven't heard anything from any of the players or staff here over the last few days.
Right. This guy that goes all the time, and he said he thought I thought he said they were gone or going, but maybe that's not accurate. Talk about a little bit about the Auburn people's feeling about Bruce Pearl being so outspoken politically on X. Are they okay with it? Does he get any flack back there from you guys about him kind of sharing all his views on that? I think he's kind of gotten the attitude, hey, I'm 60-something years old. I'm going to do what I want to do at this point. Just your thoughts about all that.
There are times when some folks will say, and generally privately, gee, they wish he weren't as vocal. But I don't know that a lot of people disagree all the time with what he's saying either. And it also doesn't hurt that he has won and he has turned this basketball program into something that people are very proud of. I mean, if it were a struggle, then people would be a whole lot more critical.
Isn't it amazing when you win the things that you can do and nobody says anything about it? That's right. That winning helps, doesn't it, Bill?
More than a little bit, yeah.
Your thoughts? It was out. I guess it's a proposal. We were talking about this morning about the transfer portal to just have it December the 9th to January the 7th, and then no more openings unless you're still played. Then when your season ends, you would have 5 additional days to get in. I guess if your team went to the national championship or something like that. Is that good? We're going to get some pushback on that from people. There'll be lawsuits about that. I think that's probably a good thing. So when these guys can kind of know what their roster is and not have to make so many changes after spring practice.
Oh, I know that coaches, most coaches would feel much more comfortable with this, having an idea of what their roster is going to be as they head into spring practice. I don't think that's the biggest concern is all right, you spend that time, you've got your signing period, which is now the main signing period now in the middle of that time there in December. So you feel like you have an idea, you know what your roster is. And the way things have been is now you go into spring practice, and as spring practice is over, players can leave. So that's a very tough situation. I'm sure we talked about this. I'm sure that there will be a lawsuit or two filed in this, and I'm not sure the NCAA is going to be able to win.
Really?
If there's a lawsuit filed, but it would make a whole lot more sense. I mean, obviously, this wouldn't affect graduate transfers, so those guys could transfer at any time. What they're trying to do is just make it where you have less roster management or concern about your roster in the spring. I haven't really seen the complete proposal, but I also feel like what this means is, hey, yeah, you can transfer any other time of the year, but then you wouldn't be able to play immediately that next year, and there's going to be some pushback on that. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this does get through without any legal problems.
Yeah.
Baseball wise, is the new field and all finished up yet? Stan?
My goodness, it's not finished, but man, it is it's very impressive. They're down the first baseline. I haven't been in more than a month, but I mean, when you're coming down Donahue, where Tiger Walk, of course, is there, and in between the baseball stadium and the old Beard Eaves, it is really impressive to look up and see the size of that. What it's going to do for the time being, it's going to affect the fans that are coming in and there for Tiger Walk. They're not going to be able to be really on the east side of the street right there by the baseball stadium because they've got so much construction going on. I mean, fans will be able to get on the other side of the street but I would guess from the right field line to probably around where home plate is on Donahue, which is only probably 20 yards or so from the corner. They're not going to be able to be on that side because of the construction. No, it's going to be going on for a little while longer, but I mean, they've got all the framework up now Now they've got to get everything inside. You know, it's sort of like when you see a house going up. Sometimes you think, man, this thing's going up so fast, but then the finishing work's what takes a while. So I would guess that's going to probably keep the folks, the suite holders, and folks like that out of it for at least this first month of the football season. But boy, it really looks impressive. I love the fact that they were able to keep all three of the facilities. I remember back years ago when they wanted to move the baseball stadium out Wire Road, move it down toward Wire Road past where the softball field is right now, and because they didn't think there was enough room. So I'm glad they've been able to keep all that, because I think it's pretty unique to be able to have football, basketball, and baseball all right there in one triangle.
I mean, is there a number of wins football-wise that, I guess it's how you play and who you beat. Right. I mean, would the Auburn fan be okay if 8, 9, or would that be a disappointment? Obviously, I'm not telling you who the 8 wins are going to be. Sometimes that matters as well. But I would think 8 wins would feel like progress, an 8-4 year. Did you feel the same way, Bill?
Yeah, I do. No, I mean, if you win 8 and aren't competitive in your 4 losses, and they're Alabama, Georgia, and say Oklahoma. I mean, if the biggest games are not competitive and you somehow win 8, it'll sort of be a hollow feeling of, yeah, we're better, but we're still not competitive in those big games. So I think 8 is the number, though, that anything below 8 is going to be tough to feel like, well, we've made a really big step forward. But you're exactly right. I mean, you're going to have to be competitive. So on the road, and that's something Auburn hasn't been as much over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Well, Bill, we appreciate it. It's all going to get started. It'll be fun. Everybody's been hearing about those great receivers down there. We'll see a chance to get their feet wet down there this weekend against a team they should handle. We'll see how Alabama does. And then, I think they got some tough games coming up at home. It should be fun to talk about all of it here in the next few weeks. We appreciate you being on with us. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, yeah. We're it's fun looking. I mean, this week there are a lot of big ball games this weekend.
Really big.
Some very interesting games involving SEC teams. Auburn and Alabama, ought to be able to take care of business. Sort of interesting. TJ Finley's going up against the Tide too. But it's the drive every afternoon, 4 to 6 on ESPN 106.7. You can listen online at ESPNAU.com or go to RadioAlabama.net. And pick ESPN 106.7. Check out the podcast as well if you can't listen live. But if you are listening live, we welcome all callers.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
Thanks a lot, Bill. Barry, after I give this bank thoughts, let's go over the dead periods for recruiting, the transfer portal things that goes through, when they can transfer, when they can't, for our listeners. I'm not sure about it myself. I don't know if you are or not.
For football?
Yeah, for football, so that we can sort of get everything on the same page, because I'm a little bit...
Yeah, these are just like the 30-day window, and that's just a recommendation. It will be voted on in October. But normally when they get to this point, they do vote them in, but we'll talk about that.
Well, I think we need to put some dates with it or some times with it that we can
do that.
I can understand it a little bit better. Okay, Bryant Bank is certainly a traditional banking experience that you'll have with a banker that will call you by name. Generally speaking, I don't care if you're coming banking with Bryant Bank out of the city of Tuscaloosa. Doesn't matter. They'll know you. Bryant Bank's got customers that enjoy banking around the clock. They'll give you the freedom and flexibility to bank the way you want to, online banking. They do everything they possibly can to help the community. They have 4 locations. I mentioned in Tuscaloosa, also a lot of locations. Birmingham, I've been with them a long time. Columbiana has a very nice location there. They'll do everything they possibly can to serve you, the people, make you satisfied, help you with the problems that come up in some banks where the banks are targeted a little bit with fraud attempts. They'll be darn sure that your money is safe. So go by Bryant Bank. Tell them you heard on Inside the Locker Room. I think it's going to be a bank that you're going to enjoy.
Listen, Tide 100.9, SC Home of Alabama Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A full closure on 2059 from an early morning accident. And this is 2059 in the southwest direction there. 2 tractor trailers involved in this massive crash. And by the way, this is 2059 southwest direction between Joe Malisham and Foster's. And so this...
Visit us at 3537 Skyland Boulevard East or check us out online, BMW of Tuscaloosa.com. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
Need to know what's going on with the Crimson Tide? Then subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive content on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. We were talking about the portal, the transport. This is for football. They haven't talked about the other sports, but the current rule is you have 30 days after, like, the SEC championship game. So let's say that this year the championship game is on December the 7th. So the 9th, the portal would open for 30 days. That would go until January the 7th. In the past, after spring training, the portal would open up for another 15 days. So this year it did that. It opened up another, and you had another 900 guys go into the transfer portal. So what they're voting on, or going to vote on, is they're going to do away with the April period where you have a one-time. So that's a total of 45 days. Now 30 after the season, then 15 days after spring training. Now they're talking about doing away with the 15 days after spring training. So December the 9th, because the SEC championship game is on the 7th, the 9th, that you have 30 days that you can get into the portal. So that would end on January the 7th. If your team is still playing, let's say Alabama goes on, they make it all the way to the national championship, then when the season is over for those teams, then they'll give them a 5-day window that they could, because they don't want them getting in the portal, obviously, while they're still trying to play for a national championship. So they would give them 5 additional days at the end of their season. So they're basically talking about cutting it from 45 to 30 days. So once really most schools start around the first week of January, by then you would kind of probably already know who was coming back, and these guys wouldn't be able to be free to transfer. So I think it will pass. They'll vote on that in October.
Well, it's going to pass.
And I think it's definitely going to pass, because this year, you had almost 3,000 kids get in the portal, and almost 1,000 of them get in April. And that's just hard to now, the coaching changes and all that, I know that they didn't say anything about that. When you have a coaching change, then it opened up the portal for another 30 days. So Alabama's portal was open for another 30 days. Michigan's was, Washington. I hope they clean that up as well, but I don't know that they will. So does that answer your question?
Well, it answers to some degree. So if whoever I have for spring training, I have those same kids basically. Yes. When the season starts back.
You should, yeah. If they want to transfer, then they would have to sit out, because they would not be doing it. They want to get into the portal. They could not get in there without a penalty, I guess.
So I go in, and I thought I was really going to play a lot in the spring, and I didn't get to. And I wanted to transfer. People to be able to transfer at other times. With the lawsuits come about there.
That's what we're talking about with Bill, possibly. But, at some point, you got to close this thing up. And so, hey, you got a chance to get into the next year in that situation. Now, I think if you're a graduate, if you've graduated, then you can basically get in the portal anytime you want. There's no stipulation on that. And that's what they're trying to get these kids to come in, graduate. So if you graduated and you want to move on after spring training, then you can do that. Say you you're in April and you still lack a few hours. I think by the time you graduate, if you want to jump in the portal, you could do that as well. All right, get to the.
Can I transfer? Can I transfer in spring if I've graduated?
Yeah, if you graduated, yeah. There's no limit on graduates.
Okay.
So, all right, let's get to the Yellowwood Hotline. Get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, Barry. Morning, Coach. How are y'all this morning?
Yeah, I got a question for you, Tom, so you hurry up with yours.
No, you go first. You go first.
If a transgender plays on the women's tour, he would probably play from the women's team. But if a transgender played on the men's tour, would she be allowed to play from the women's team?
Hey, Coach, can y'all hold on a minute? I got to throw up, if you don't mind, okay?
Yeah. Why are we even discussing that?
I think it's a great discussion.
Wow.
Like, go ahead. I think it's
this show.
It's a great discussion.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in you so much. I mean, golly.
What do you think Tom's going to say? Yeah, I think the transgender should be titting from the women's tees.
I'm not saying. I tell you what. I just about that boxing deal.
Have I ruined your question? Have I ruined your question?
Sir?
I've ruined your question. You forgot what you was going to ask.
No, I was bringing something real positive. I was kind of negative yesterday, and I felt bad about it. And today I said, I'm going to bring something positive for a coach to talk about. And
then I messed it up.
Then he goes negative on you.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Coach. All you did was make me want to throw up. That's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was talking to an Ole Miss fan, this young lady that graduated from Ole Miss 5 or 6, 7 years ago, something like that. Anyway, she was in town this weekend, and I run into her, and we were talking, and she was saying, I'm so sad we're not playing Alabama this year because this is the year we beat you, that kind of talk.
Yeah.
And so we were joking around about this and that, and but she told me that when she was in Oxford a couple of weeks ago, and she said this is what her friends were telling her. Y'all want to hear it?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. That's a Grove.
That Oklahoma fans have absolutely gone bonkers about coming to Ole Miss, going to the Grove. Even though it's 11 o'clock game for Ole Miss and Oklahoma, it's going to be an 11 o'clock game, she said. She said they have gone bonkers about coming over there, going to the Grove, and said they are so fired up for that game. Now, listen to this. They have booked solid from the bottom to the tip top, the Peabody in Memphis. Every room is taken that weekend by Oklahoma fans. And they had a group of fans. Listen to this. I like to fell out laughing with this one. She said they were trying to lease the rendezvous for the whole weekend.
They were trying to rent it out?
Well, no, they were trying to book it for everything they wanted to do for the whole weekend. And I said, well, were they able to? She said, I hadn't heard the final results on that yet. And she said, to be honest with you, she said, I know about the Peabody. That's true. But I'm not sure about the rendezvous.
You got a lot of oil money, Tom.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. Everybody hollers about Texas.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma ain't no slouch when it comes to money.
Yeah, they got money.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I thought y'all might get a kick out of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to go to Kansas or you want to go to the Grove?
That's right.
You want to go to Ames, Iowa, or Oxford and hang out in the Grove? So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But she was laughing by us too. It was kind of a fun thing to think about how football season is here now and how excited everybody is getting and how good it is that Oklahoma's so excited about coming in and going to the Grove.
We'll see how excited they are after year one.
Lane likes the Grove.
Yeah. Anyway.
All
right, Tom. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right, we'll take
buddy.
this last.
Y'all take care.
Thank you. Take this last break, and then we'll wrap up the show as Tom throws up. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A full closure on 2059 from an early morning accident. And this is 2059 in the southwest direction there. 2 tractor trailers involved in this massive crash. And by the way, this is 2059 southwest direction between Joe Malisham and Foster's. And so this...
Thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Where every new Honda comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. 1.9% APR for 36 months on 2024 Ridgeline models through Honda Financial Services. Not all buyers will qualify. See dealer for details. Offer ends 9/3/2024.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another hot and dry day today with a sunny sky, the high 98. Tonight, fair with the low at 74. Tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny both days with isolated afternoon and evening showers and storms. Highs between 95 and 98. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Tomorrow's show, we look forward to visiting with J.C. Sherbert. He'll go around the SEC with J.C. And are you wanting to delay your Blue Plate special to Friday? You need more time to study?
Well, let me think about it.
I mean, you can have another day if you need it, if you think it's going to help you.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it.
Did you find out your source on Pat McAfee since we've been on the break?
No, I read it. I don't know where I read it, and I read it somewhere. If anybody found it, call Barry real quick and say that they saw it too. Nobody said they saw it but me.
Yeah. I think you may have dreamed it. You may have been wishing it would happen. I think Pat McAfee's all right. He's
it's the first thing I wrote down.
Yeah. Anyway, tomorrow we'll get some college football. A lot of eyes will be on that Colorado game. We'll see how they do. 2 SEC teams, as we said, Arkansas, Missouri will be in action. Jody Wright and Murray State will take on the...
Barry, what kind of crowd do you think UAB will have for Alcorn tomorrow night? Not me.
15. Will they have 15,000 in there, you think? Is that too many?
Oh, that's about right, probably.
Yeah, Thursday night. I think they should play on Thursday night. I don't think UAB should try to compete against Auburn and Alabama on Saturdays. You don't want to compete against high school football on Friday. You do a little bit on Thursdays. There is some high school football on Thursdays, but not a ton. All right, well, that's it for today's show. We'll get out of here and make way for the Gary Harris Show. I'm waiting on the motorhomes to come rolling in, Chase. They'll start rolling in here probably, I guess, Friday. But football is here when you see the motorhomes rolling in. So keep it locked in. The Gary Harris Show is next. Listen, Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports. Have a great day, everybody.